Welcome to the masterclass called How to Earn an Incredible Living and Build Lasting Wealth in Real Estate by Mastering the Uncommon Art of Seller Relations Skills without working harder or doing more deals. This video is an introduction and an overview to the course, and you should listen to it and watch it before you jump into Module 1 of the course. First of all, who am I and why am I giving you this course? Well, this is really not about me, but I want you to understand who I am and why I have decided to put together this course. I'm Jeff Stevens, and I am a full-time real estate entrepreneur. I live in Portland, and I do work in Portland and in Bend, Oregon, way out on the West Coast. I've been an entrepreneur for 16 years, and for the first about 11 years, I was the owner and operator of a marketing and branding agency. And we had clients all over the country in the banking space, and I would speak at their events, and we would do marketing and branding services for them. And along the way, my wife and I would take the profits that we made from the business, and we would use it to begin investing in real estate. My real estate investing business has a small team. There are four of us. There's me. We have a full-time builder, construction person. We have a full-time property manager, and we have a full-time acquisitions assistant as well. My portfolio currently, as I'm recording this, is total value around $10 million. We don't have any equity partners. We do have debt with our properties, but we don't have any partners. And I am also the founder of the Thoughtful Real Estate Entrepreneur. This is something that I created as a platform for me to start sharing kind of my experiences and some of my thoughts and ideas and real estate strategies with more people in the hope that those things, like this course, would be helpful to them in creating the life that they want to have through real estate. As part of the Thoughtful Real Estate Entrepreneur, I created a podcast called Sleaze Free Real Estate Investing, and that is available on iTunes and Spotify and other major podcast platforms. And you'll find links to that podcast in the course notes on this page. But this is really not about me. This is about you, and this is about where you're headed in your life and in your business. And so I want to give you an overview of what you can expect from this course over the course of the next 6 weeks and the next 6 modules that you receive. This course is not really at all about convincing you that real estate is the right vehicle for you to use to pursue your goals. I don't think that you would even be on this, watching this video if you didn't already believe that. My goal, rather, is not to teach you that real estate's the right vehicle, but to show you instead the strategy and approach within real estate that is, I believe, going to help get you further along and is the strategy and the approach that I use. This is also not about just showing you and teaching you how people make money in real estate. Instead, my goal is to teach you this uncommon approach to an entrepreneurial real estate endeavor that's centered on what I call seller relations skills. Now, this is not a mainstream idea. That's kind of what makes this course very different than what you will find if you were to go to a normal seminar or get another course on real estate investing. This is a different approach and with a focus on different types of things. And it's not mainstream. So the question is, why is it not mainstream? And I think you're going to be asking yourself that as you learn from this course. You're going to be saying to yourself, why aren't more people doing this? This makes perfect sense. And it's not to be offensive, but the answer is that it's not mainstream because the mass market is not sophisticated enough, frankly, to really want this type of approach. The mass market wants everything to be easy. People are looking for silver bullets and magic wands that they can wave and everything that gets them results quickly and easily. And you can't fault people for wanting results quickly and easily, but so much of the mainstream mass market wants uncommon results without the effort of creating uncommon value that delivers those results. And that just is not realistic. And so, what we're going to talk about here is much more of a sophisticated approach to crafting an entrepreneurial real estate business than what you'll find just about anywhere else in the education market of real estate investing. So, to sum it up, the mass market does not understand or have any appreciation for the idea that in order to have wealth, one must become the kind of person who can generate wealth. Again, they just want the results of wealth, but they don't want to have to go through the personal transformation required to become the kind of person capable of that. So you, my friend, are about to become what we call a tree. A tree is an acronym for a thoughtful real estate entrepreneur. And this course is going to teach you a lot of the main pillars of the idea of being a thoughtful real estate entrepreneur and what that means. So let's take it a second and break down this title. The title to the course is kind of long, and there's really 4 sections of this title. So again, it's called How to Earn an Incredible Living and Build Lasting Wealth in Real Estate by Mastering the Uncommon Art of Seller Relation Skills without working harder or doing more deals. So let's just take this piece by piece. How to earn an incredible living. This is the very practical, day-to-day side of your entrepreneurial real estate business. This is how you put food on the table, you keep the lights on, and all those euphemisms for your basic everyday expenses. So to do that, you have to create short-term revenue that you can receive in the near future. So it kind of begs the question, what is your short-term goal? And it's kind of different for everybody. Some people certainly want to quit their jobs. They want to get out of the world of big companies, or feeling like a slave to a job or something like that. Other people just want to supplement their income. Yet other people are just looking for something that's more challenging, more engaging, something that they can sink their teeth into. Whatever your reason, it doesn't really matter. There's going to be a short-term component to your reason and a longer-term component. So earning an incredible living is about the short-term component of living comfortably today. And I want to point out that income and earning a lot of money today makes you feel rich. And if you're not being successful with that, it makes you feel poor. But neither of those things are about actual wealth. And that's where the second part of our definition comes into effect. So we want to not only create an incredible living, but we want to, number 2, build lasting wealth in real estate. Because lasting wealth is where freedom comes from. And lasting wealth with real estate comes from the ownership and the control of long-term real estate assets. So this is not so much about the practical element of keeping your lights on and whatnot today, but it's more about building a balance sheet, building a net worth, and driving a cash flow stream off of that balance sheet and off of that net worth. This is the difference between just feeling rich, but actually being wealthy. And when you're owning and controlling assets over the long term, and you're today working hard to set yourself up to be doing that over the long term, then you are actually creating wealth. And so it's very important to distinguish between being wealthy and being rich or feeling rich. Again, if you are making a lot of money today, you feel rich. But it's when you have these long-term assets that you own and control, then you're actually wealthy. And it is very possible, and I can tell you from my own personal experience, it is very possible to be wealthy and to feel poor. And what this comes down to, which we're going to talk about a lot in this course, is what I call deal mix. What percentage of the deals you're doing are delivering the short-term income, and what percentage are determining the long-term wealth? And if one of those is out of whack, then you're going to feel a little bit unbalanced. If you're generating a lot of income but not creating wealth, you're going to feel rich, but you're also going to feel a little bit empty and not satiated because you know you're not creating something for the long term. The opposite is possible too. If you're building a lot of long-term wealth, which might mean buying a lot of rental properties, but you're not doing enough deals that are generating your short-term revenue, then you feel wealthy. You are wealthy, but you're feeling poor on a day-to-day basis. And that also is not ideal. So the third element in our definition or of our title of this course is that we're going to create a great living today. We're going to create long-term wealth, and we're going to do so, number 3, by mastering the uncommon art of seller relations skills. This is really the crux of this particular course. Seller relations skills is going to be the thread that runs throughout all of the modules and is really the central idea of everything we're going to talk about. So I wanted to take a moment and just really define what is seller relations. Now, seller relations is a term that I made up myself because I feel like it adequately and accurately describes the magic of how we do what we do as trees, as thoughtful real estate entrepreneurs. So here's how we define seller relations. Seller relations is intentionally crafting and performing the human interactions which strategically facilitate a tailored real estate transaction that creates the maximum possible value for each party. So let's take a quick look at that. It's about being very deliberate and intentional in designing, thoughtfully designing, and also then carrying out a series of human interactions. And this series of human interactions is very strategically designed and carried out in a way that's leading us towards the creation and the tailoring of a deal, a real estate transaction, the creation and the tailoring of a deal that is going to be as good as it possibly can be for both parties. So that means that we are seeing what the full potential of this deal is for us, and we are guiding this conversation, this series of interactions, through the process to be able to capture this opportunity that we have identified, and at the same time be understanding exactly what would create the most value for the seller and designing our plan to capture that as well. So I'll read it one more time. Intentionally crafting and performing the human interactions which strategically facilitate a tailored real estate transaction that creates the maximum possible value for each party. That is seller relations. That is the central idea of this course. And then the fourth and final leg of our title of this course is that you're going to make a great living today. You're going to build lasting wealth. You're going to do so through mastering on the uncommon art of seller relation skills. And you're also going to do so without working harder or doing more deals. And now that's interesting too, because some people say, well, I want bigger results. And so that must mean I need to do more deals and I must just need to work harder. Well, you could get bigger results by doing more and working harder at the same thing you're already doing. Or you could do what we're talking about here, which is without necessarily doing any more deals or working any harder, you could extract more value from each deal that you do. And if you're mastering the art of seller relations, then you are going to be able to squeeze more value out of every deal that you do. Especially when you pair the idea of seller relations with 3 other concepts that are kind of proprietary, thoughtful real estate entrepreneurship concepts. And these all go together very nicely with seller relations driving the ship. So seller relations, when it's in concert with opportunity vision skills, deal architecture skills, and the triple threat acquisition strategy, when all of those things are in play, then you don't need to do more deals or work harder to get bigger results. Very briefly, opportunity vision skills are about understanding when you're looking at a seller, looking at a deal. Opportunity vision skills are about understanding where the elements of opportunity lie within the situation and then kind of solving to isolate those particular benefits. If you think back to an algebraic equation, think back to 7th grade, and you're solving for x. X is the thing that you're trying to get on one side of the equal sign, and you're trying to get everything else on the other side of the equal sign. Opportunity vision skills are about identifying that x and then knowing how to get it on one side of the equal sign and everything else on the other side. Deal architecture skills are about knowing how to structure a deal once you've identified what the maximum opportunity really is. How do you go about creating the deal structure that's going to allow you to actually extract the value that you identified with the opportunity vision skills? And the triple threat acquisition strategy is our constant focus at all times, looking at every opportunity through three primary lenses. One is, how could we keep this property and hold on to it for the long term? The second one is, how could we buy this property, make it more valuable, and then quickly resell it? And the third one is, how could we take this opportunity that we have secured and negotiated and package it up and hand it off to somebody else to make a smaller but quicker and easier referral fee for it? This course is about entrepreneurial real estate, not what I call real estate investing. It's not what most people call real estate investing. And to us, as thoughtful real estate entrepreneurs, there is a difference, a critical distinction between being a real estate entrepreneur and being a real estate investor. And maybe you have, or maybe you have not pondered that difference before. But as a primer to this whole course, I would encourage you to look up episode number 2 of Sleaze Free Real Estate Investing. And we'll put a link to this in the course notes here for this particular video. But if you listen to episode number 2, you'll understand some of the key differences between being a real estate investor and being a real estate entrepreneur, because our focus in this course is on being a real estate entrepreneur. And the other thing that's really important to point out here is that this course is about off-market real estate acquisition. This is not a course about buying properties through real estate agents, looking for signs, looking at the multiple listing service, things like that. And similarly to my last point, we have an episode of Sleaze Free Real Estate Investing that would be very helpful to listen to as a primer in advance of taking the rest of the course, that would help you to understand why trees, thoughtful real estate entrepreneurs, really love and prefer working directly with sellers rather than through agents. So here's how our course is going to be structured. There's 6 modules, and you'll get 1 module released to you per week for 6 weeks. Each module is primarily video based, and it's about approximately, give or take a little bit, an hour of content per module. You'll also get a PDF worksheet that is released with each module as well. And as there are things that we refer to in the module video, like for instance, we've just referred to 2 different episodes of Sleaze Free Real Estate Investing, we will provide the links to those references so you can find them very easily. Somebody has asked me, what level is the content? Is this a beginner, an intermediate, an advanced class? And it was a great question, and it made me pause, and I realized that my approach to creating this course is really not about the level of the course. It's more about creating a thorough and a big picture and a medium picture overview of how to create an entrepreneurial real estate business that will let you make a living today and also help you build lasting wealth over the long term. And so I call it big picture and medium picture, because we are going to go from just philosophies down into actual strategies and some tactical things. But this isn't going to be a to-do list of exactly specific things. There are going to be things that you learn that you're going to be required to think about, because that's what thoughtful real estate entrepreneurs try to do, is understand how things work and not just exactly what to do without understanding why. So in the course of this, there will be some concepts that are more basic concepts. There'll be some concepts that are more advanced. And I'm not worried about distinguishing between those, because you guys are all smart enough to follow along on all these. And what I want to make sure you get is a comprehensive understanding about how you can use this art of seller relations to make money today and over the long term. So let me just walk you through the 6 modules and the headers for each of those modules and the topics. Module number 1, which you'll get next, of course, is called How to Get Started and Set Yourself Up for Success. Module 2, How to Find Great Deals. Module number 3, how to use seller relations skills to negotiate great deals. Module number 4, how to analyze your deals using the triple threat acquisition strategy. Module number 5, how to get the seller to say yes, find the money, and get the deal closed. And the final module, number 6, is called How to Grow Your Business and Manage Your Wealth Building Portfolio. So I want to just point out to you, to set your expectations correctly, what this course is not. As I've mentioned, this course is not a list of easy tricks and shortcuts. It's not silver bullets or magic solutions. It's not a bunch of get-rich-quick ideas. And it's not about just giving you a long list of tactical things without asking you to do any thinking about them. Sorry, that's not what this course is all about. I'm sure you can find a course like that or a seminar where they try to make it seem like the results are so easy that a blindfolded monkey could do that. But the truth is, in my experience, the more thoughtful you are, the more strategic you are, and the more you understand the bigger picture and the why behind everything you're doing, the more successful you're going to be. So instead of this being a bunch of easy tricks and shortcuts and get-rich-quick ideas, instead, I'll tell you what this course is. This course is about teaching you not just what to do, but why you need to do it. Because the more you understand the why, the more you'll be better equipped to solve problems as they come up. I remember when I was a kid in math class, and as I started to get into some of the more advanced kind of high school math, like trigonometry, I remember that there were kids in my class who just simply remembered the steps. Here's how you solve this equation. They remembered the steps, but they didn't really understand why the steps were what the steps were. So when the teacher then gave them a test that had a problem in it that needed to be solved, that wasn't exactly following the steps that they had memorized, they were really in trouble. They weren't able to solve the problem because all they did was memorize the steps rather than understand why the steps worked the way they did. My goal for you here is to make sure that we're teaching you not just what to do, but why it makes sense to do it that way. I'm going to give you the bigger picture as much as I'm going to give you the smaller picture and the tactics. And I'm going to help you become the person who is capable of building wealth. I'm going to help you transform into the person who is the right type of person to succeed with this plan. And last but certainly not least, we're going to get you tuned into seller relation skills and on your way to mastery of those seller relation skills. As we say at the end of every episode of Sleaze-Free Real Estate Investing, you have to solve the person to unlock the deal, and you have to solve the financing to unlock the profits. In order to unlock a deal, it's about solving the person. This is the key and the core of seller relation skills, knowing how to solve the person in order to make the deal come together. Once you've done that, then it becomes about solving the financing in order to actually create the profit that you have locked up by solving the person. So my goal for you, after taking this course, you're going to have an enlightened perspective on how to be a tree, how to be a thoughtful real estate entrepreneur, not just an investor, a real estate entrepreneur who creates new value in the world. And that you will be taking action towards your goals by using the seller relations skills approach to off-market acquisition. And when you're doing that, you are going to be on your way to creating short-term revenue, which is about today, making an incredible living, and building long-term financial freedom that you desire. So without further ado, let's get started. Up next, you're going to get module number 1, which is called How to Get Started and Set Yourself Up for Success. Here is to your success. I'm so glad to have you along on the journey of this course with me.